You have to hit it just right. You can't hit it too hard. You can't hit it too light. You got to hit it right on the money. She warns. Let me get my rules up real quick.
At some point, Karn will also buy Euphorio and promise that he'll hold on to it for her.
Oh, hell yeah! All right, so you come up to to the hammer game. It's a tall pole. There is a candle sitting on a red bar near the top, and there's a bell just above it. And the carney warns you, you gotta hit the candle, not the bell. You hand over the gold to play, and let's see. Roll me an athletics check.
Athletics. Respectable 18.
A respectable 18. So, the maximum to put all of your chutzpah into that strike is 18. You can choose to pick a number lower than that to try to hit it on the money.
Oh, geez. Do I have any insight as to about where on that board the target is?
That depends. Is anyone playing with Karn?
Biff would come with them. There's no reason not to.
All right. Let's retro this. Biff, roll me an athletics check.
My rules suck today.
25.
No, right? That's an 11.
11 on die or 11 total?
11 total.
11 total. So as Biff comes down and he tries to strike it, you see that the disc that's supposed to hit the candle, it only comes up about 2/3 of the way. It misses by a margin, so it's above 11.
Biff hits so weakly because he's very badly trying to hide a Euphorio.
Above 11.
I'm gonna say that during this event, Alina, you have found Solon, and you guys are also out and about. And Solon is actually going to try this game after Biff, kind of giggling and gaggling about it. It seems like a lot of good fun, and she's going to make a roll.
Sounds good.
All right, so she's got a 16. She's got a -1 modifier, so 15. Karn, as you're kind of watching and seeing where people go, you see that she puts a lot of effort into it, and she hits it a good deal stronger than Biff does, and it just barely hits the candle that misses. She doesn't try again. She seems like she's having a good time, though, despite Alina's weird friends.
So it fell just shy?
Just shy.
Okay, I think... So would I be able to take a 16 on that then?
You choose to take a 16. So 18 is your ceiling. You choose instead to take a 16. You kind of brace it before it lands. You estimate it. The candle goes out, but the bell does not ring. Carney claps his hands. A game of skill! Ladies and gentlemen, a game of skill. You've seen it. It can be won. It's not rigged.
I am Karn.
Listen, he goes about and he goes to the prize counter. He rummages around. Karn, you can either roll me a d10 or pick a number between 1 and 10.
Oh, I gotta pick a number. What numbers haven't we seen?
You have seen 1. You've seen 2. You've seen 3. You've seen 7. You've seen 8.
Oh, well, then I have to go for 10.
You've seen 10. 10 is the Stegosaurus.
10 is the Stegosaurus. All right, what's 9?
He pulls out a long and conical golden spiral, what looks to be a horn of some kind. Roll me an Arcana check. Or a history check. Or a history check.
Or any check based on intelligence.
Any check based on... Give me a wisdom check. Give me a wisdom check. It might be something you've seen. Straight wisdom, add proficiency, whatever. What's your proficiency? +4? Okay, so that looks like a really good replica of a unicorn horn, and the interior is stuffed with candy. All different taffies, all different chocolates, all wrapped in wax paper, kind of spilling out the side. He hands it over to you. Celestial unicorn horn. I don't suppose you're the eating type. Everyone's the eating type. Everyone loves candy. Even the damn devil likes candy.
This one has never had candy before.
Well, tonight's the night to try.
This one will do so.
All right, so, Karn, you try candy. You don't know if it's the first time, but you don't remember the flavor, as your mouth is gummed up with a pink, chewy taffy.
Karn is now voiceless for the rest of the night.
Oh, it's trying so hard to be berry, but it's like kind of salty. Where has this been your whole life? And it's a very, very full horn, full of candy. Alina.
Yeah.
Alina, you're going to try to win a Stegosaurus. So, there are several games available. There's the fish catching game, which everyone loved. There's the bottle game, which no one tried. There's the dart game, the axe game, the mystery card drawing game, pure game of chance. You win or you don't. It's kind of like a pay till you win situation.
I want to look for a game that will play to my strengths. And then I'd say
strength.
that I mean literally my strengths. Probably
Play
athletics.
to your strength.
Or at least strength.
There's the Cyclops staring game, which isn't a strength-based game. It seems like a war of attrition. It takes physical discipline to keep your eyes open.
Okay. Yeah, that's the game.
Out of game, it's a con game.
Okay.
It's a constitution.
Yeah, that's... I will stare down a Cyclops for solid.
Stare down a Cyclops. All right, so your buddies gather around this big, warty, dark-skinned Cyclops with a big scowling eye and a big bulbous nose covered in little pockmarks. And he kind of grumbles in your direction as the carnage. You're gonna try your best to outstare the Cyclops. Well, it's a 5 silver to play. You gotta not blink first.
All right, I will give the 5 silver.
Okay, 5 silver. And so, you take a stance, kind of like a sumo stance, across from the Cyclops who's scowling at you. And, let's see. What's the rules of this one? You need to make a Constitution check.
Okay.
So roll a 20, add your Constitution.
Can I crack a joke at the Cyclops to see if I can get him to laugh?
Ooh. Yeah, do you have one in mind, or would you just roll for it?
Give me a moment.
Best Cyclops jokes.
Literally. Hey, why did the Cyclops stop teaching? He only had 1 pupil.
A little persuasion check, please.
Okay.
Oh
Oh my god!
No, don't do this to me.
It's a 27. It's not a nat 20, it's a 19 for a 27.
Okay. So there's a long pause. And then in the distance, behind what looks to be like a tarp set up in the background to hide some stuff, some other carts, you hear a very stifled and the illusion drops. The Cyclops, quite literally, blinks out of existence for just a moment. Ah, shit!
He blinked.
A blink's a blink. The carny claps, boisterous laughter. Someone in the distance behind this tarp just starts cackling. The Cyclops dissipates and just can't really seem to be maintained as they're laughing. He rolls around the back and rummages through prizes. And so you wanted the stuffed Stegosaurus?
I want to stuff Aramag.
Stuffed Aramag. All right, so that's number 3. Yeah. Tiny guy comes around the front and brings you a stuffed, spiked-backed dragon turtle plush. seemingly in good humor. Second time tonight. I gotta change up how this game works. There you go, kid.
Thank you. And I will give it to Solin.
Solin, you see there's some redness in her cheeks, and she kind of holds it close. I haven't gotten a plush since I was a little girl. It's very, very soft for a terrifying. What is he? The island's warden?
Something
the
like
deity,
that.
something jailer.
I wish he was that plush when I landed on him.
Oh, yes. Were only he were that soft, you might have gotten a few less bruises.
A little, maybe. Few.
A little, maybe. So, Solin seems pleased. The night grows long. People start to slowly and surely become exhausted. The turtles make their way out of Aramag's court and make their way eastward, finding inns and places to sleep. Though they would prefer to sleep under the stars, the guards assure them that they must find a place to sleep that's not outside. Verdi and Vanya and Mbanje and Incognitus, you guys go your separate ways. I assume Verdi is still sleeping on Vanya's couch, as is the way of the universe.
He's been doing it for 5 years?
Roundabouts. Mbanje, you find your way back to your place of residence. You've been kind of hanging out in town, renting a place, but there's been a little plot of land that you've been considering buying. So soon as you have the necessary funds.
Yeah. Before he breaks off, he is gonna check in with Heldy. Congratulate her on being healthy and hale. Make sure the quote unquote couple are good before heading out.
Oh yeah, she'll profusely thank him for magic, whatever the fuck he gave her. She feels better. She's not totally at her 100%, but she feels so much better, and if it wasn't for him, she'd still be in bed.
Sorry, it tasted like an ass's ass. Really nothing to be done about that.
It was like having really, really strong liquor, except it didn't feel good.
Yeah, most liquor's like that.
The fuck liquor you drinking?
I don't want to talk about it.
No, you must talk about it. You must tell me now. What have you been drinking?
So Mbanje.
Isopropyl alcohol?
Mbanje, you are aware of a particular drink that's extremely, extremely strong. You've had it but once. It's rare. It's hard to distill. You require Ankeg venom to create it. Ankegs being those giant bugs that the other team fought.
I'm trying to think of a cool name for it.
Sand cake.
You recall? You believe it's called Sandkeg.
Sandkeg, okay. Yeah, he's gonna
like Ankeg, but sandy. Sandkeg.
So this stuff out there called Sandkeg. You might want to try it out if you hate yourself.
Has Hildy ever heard of this, or is he blowing it out his ass?
Roll me a history check with advantage.
That is a 23.
23. It is a drink that you have found in some of the ports that you have stopped in, typically used to haze greenhorns. It is more of a poison than a drink, a local custom, a way to prove who's a local, who's a not. This drink will fuck you up. It will fuck you up.
Oh, you got fucking played. You fucking idiot. You drank that shit? You actually drank that shit.
I'm from here, so I did it for science.
The fuck kind of science you doing?
The kind of science that has you on your feet, nerd. You're
You're not
welcome.
on your fucking feet when you drink that shit. You're out.
The point is, you're welcome. and Mbanje storms away. What's the word? It's like, sorry, words. He's like being exaggerated
Fake
movements,
mad,
like,
like fake mad.
yeah, he's fake mad.
He's hemming and he's hawing and he's stomping. And what kids who are still awake at this night start like walking in time behind you, doing the hemming and the hawing and the stomping. As you and your entourage, still trying to steal candy from your pocket. You head off in your direction, and Helda, you head off in your direction. As you guys adjourn collectively, separately for the evening. I would assume that no one really has anything to do during the evening.
Bones is gonna go back to the tower. And I did not get an answer when she checked the windows. Do they open?
The windows, do they open? So, from the inside out, the windows, they seem to budge open at an angle on a hinge. So the opening is like one of those like turn dial windows
Mm-hmm.
instead of the slat upward windows.
Is it maneuverable?
To slip inside of?
Yeah.
With your thieves' tools, you can budge it open enough to get it open. You'll have to unbudge it when you make your way inside.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's her entrance. Just to fuck with Reg.
Just to fuck with Red. All right, give me a quick thieves' tools check
Sure.
as you try to break into a wizard's tower again.
He can't get too comfortable thinking that I'm gonna not be able to break into his tower.
Checking for traps.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Oh
Bones
man, if this is
apparently does
Bones does not learn.
Hey, what a cat.
How many lives does she have left?
Not many, probably like 4. So that's a 17 plus Dex, which is 4, so 21 plus proficiency, which is an amount.
An amount.
4. So 25 total.
Okay.
If he dropped these
So-
fucking windows, Bones will be so proud of him.
So, you find that the window is not trapped this time. That's the first thing you notice as your ears are not bleeding and ringing. You manage to wedge your pliers and file, get into the gear and twist the gear. It takes a little while because this is a mechanized window situation, but you've got deft fingers. You're good. You manage to budge it open, squeeze in because you are spindly. Not spindly, but you're a cat. You're flexible. You squeeze in. Whatever. Cats do. And you kind of like roll tumble inside, quiet as a mouse, quiet as a cat. You find the interior is darkened. You hear the distant sound of snoring. Reginald is a snorer. But you find that he has not trapped the windows, but he is sleeping.
Damn. Alright, well, I'll go to bed.
All right, you curl up into bed. He kind of stirs just a little bit. I'm assuming you're not stealthing into bed because that
Nope.
would be weird.
That would be a weird choice.
And in a rare moment of, I guess, domestic normalcy, he actually lifts his arm up and kind of pulls you toward him.
Aw.
Just snoring into the back of your hair,
Perfect.
like you do.
Someone's just purring like a fucking fiend.
And you spend your evening in quiet contentment in a bed that's, this is a jungle, but the bed's kind of cool. Like, cool to the touch. Like, cool as the other side of the pillow without flipping the pillow. It's pleasant. So that's your evening.
Yeah.
The night grows long. Does anyone else have anything that they're doing with their evening?
Karn doesn't really have a place he goes to for rest, so he'll end up going back to Crosp's old house.
You go to Cross's old house, you find that Roar and the Gallium are working long into the night. There is a whole ass boat in the bottom floor that barely fits. Roar appears to be affixing some kind of device, question mark, into part of the ship.
Karn likes boats. Karn needs to rest. It's been a long day, so he'll find some place to do his sentry's rest, and then he'll probably wake up and help out with whatever is going on in here.
All right. Okay. I believe that concludes the evening. The night grows long.
Yay.
And cold and dark as the sun is gone and the sea breeze overtakes Nyanzaru. The braziers remain lit throughout the duration. The city never quite sleeps, but its denizens do. Early in the morning, Vanya, you awake to the sensation of something resting on your chest. Something resting just upon your sternum, kind of digging in. Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oof. $15.
1 moment, please. $15. So with a 15, you begin to stir as a voice speaks up somewhat urgently before you, face to face. Vanya, wake up. Danger is afoot. Wake up.
Okay, at the thought of, well, hearing danger, that's going to spark some very old instincts. So I think that's going to kind of push me towards wakefulness.
Okay, as you wake up, you do feel that Stratus's claws have prickled into your chest, just under your sternum, as he's pushing and trying to stir you. You awake to see that his eyes, lambent yellow things, his brows are somewhat narrowed, piercing yellow eyes looking at you as he watches you wake up. I sense fell magic nearby. Your mentor is in great peril. We must move now.
Yeah, I'm already
Come, hurry.
and
He hops off of you,
staggering.
He hops off of you. He trots toward the door of your bedroom and paws at the closed door. Because it's closed.
I'll pause only to grab a robe and call for Frederick and Jackson and look over to where Verdi is sleeping on the couch.
So as you call out and make noise, you see Natasha woof, kind of like raise her head and chuff a little bit. You see that Natasha is on top of Verdi, just kind of like sleeping on top of the tiefling, being unhelpful and heavy.
Natasha, wake up Verdi. Something is going on.
She immediately begins to nudge Verdi, and Verdi, roll me just a quick Constitution save. Don't roll a 1. $16? 16. All right. So you awaken Ranger's instincts. You just kind of kick away and shake off. Natasha hops off of you and trots toward the door.
Already halfway out it.
Half following Vanya, half waiting for you.
He's just like, scrambling up and quickly gets his boots on.
Okay. You get your boots on, you chase after Vanya. Vanya, you make your way out of your apartment and you begin to hustle. God damn this pajamas? It's not a nightgown? God damn this nightgown. As you make your way down the dirt road, you hear noise. You hear the sound of people. You hear the sound of a bell ringing. And you see a glow in the distance.
Going to start moving very much quicker. Break into a run.
Break into a run. As you approach the Half Moon Court, you see the sign of town guards moving and hustling, rushing, darting past you, paying you no mind as carts and barrels of water are being rushed toward the Half Moon Court. You see a billowing pyre of smoke rising into the air, and before you even get to see the building, you smell the smoke and you know what's happening. There is a fire. It is a bad one. Stratus appears to be dashing forward ahead of you, looking back occasionally. Every so often you lose sight of him, but he appears beside buildings, behind carts, in the shadow of people, seemingly leaping in and out of your field of vision. With what seems to be supernatural speed. He calls for you to follow, using the gathering crowd as cover for his voice. As you both make your way to the building, the Half Moon Court, you see the interior is glowing. An inferno, a column of flame, is rising into the air as this thick black smoke billows high into the sky. You see embers kind of floating and twisting in the air away from the kindling. Nearby shops are being doused with water. It seems that the local buildings surrounding it are being prioritized as far as dousing the flames go. As you approach the crowd, a single guard kind of rebukes you and pushes back against those present. Nobody get close. No one get close. This flame is, there are alchemical ingredients back there. We do not know if it will go even bigger or bolder. Please, give us space. We will douse the other buildings. Please, stay back. As other guards are kind of forming a line almost.
I can help. I walk here.
As you mentioned, you work here, Vanya. The second thing you notice, as you get close and approach this line, is that from the ground, beyond the flame, the dirt is disturbed. There are rocks and stones and packed earth pushed aside as these mounds form the basis of what appears to be these thick brown and green tendrils raising from the dirt, almost forming like a thicket around the Half Moon Court. They bear dark black thorns and what look like flower buds, but black. As you fight against the guards, you notice this, and Stratus speaks up just underfoot. I can sense that she's inside the building. There's magic afoot. Something terrible has happened.
I have to get to her.
All right. So as you say that, the guards don't seem to be paying you mind. They're just pushing back. Your unassuming appearance does not seem to get their attention. You find that there is somewhat of an opening. There is a thicket of black thorns between you and the doorway, which does appear to be open.
Okay.
Verdi, you arrive to see this sight. You see the flames, and you see the thorns and the wreathing, twisting thicket. These thick, dark, sick-looking tendrils that are not quite enveloping the Half Moon Court. Verdi, if you can roll me an Arcana check real quick. And a nature check while you're at it.
11 for Arcana. 14 for nature.
14 for nature. So you recognize that this is not natural. These plants do not appear to be natural in any sense. There's definitely an air of magic about them, some kind of natural magic, you think, something that maybe Karn would be able to work with. You do believe that they can be broken through. They could be destroyed, maybe with enough force. You are not sure what would happen if you were to be pricked by the thorns.
Alright, well, I'm gonna take out my short sword, and Vanya panicking, wanting to get in, I will try and cut the vines.
All right, so you kind of rush past.
As Verdi goes to rush past, I'll move up with him and tell him, "You try to cut your way inside, and I'll meet you there." And as soon as I say that, I transform. I am activating both my knacks,
Okay.
Cursed Family and Transformation, as I adopt a very spectral appearance. My hair starts to rise up and curl and clump together in translucent tendrils. I adopt a purplish outline and become translucent, and I'm going to try and just walk through it all.
Okay. Are you invisible or just transparent and spectral?
It just says shifting into an intangible spectral form for 1 minute.
Intangible. So you take on this ghostly appearance. As Verdi, you kind of rush forward. You catch the guard's attention, Verdi, and he kind of grabs you by the shoulder. I can't let you go in here. There's flame, there's fire, What are you
No,
doing?
the blackguard. I need to go
Blackguard?
in.
Ranger, why?
I can do this, trust me.
He's...
It's in there.
Someone's in there. Oh, gods, no. He seems flummoxed and surprised that someone's in there, sees your blackout, and he lets you go. Vanya, by now you've already floated through. You approach the vines. You reach out and touch one hand to them. You feel what feels like static electricity run between your fingertips to your elbow to your shoulder. But you don't feel pain as you push through it. It's like moving through hard gelatin. But you persevere. You feel the heat roll and rush past you as this inferno seems to almost get angrier when you approach. The embers rise from the roof. As you see the thatch collapse in the back of the roof's ceiling. Verdi, you rush forward, sword in hand. Roll an attack.
I don't know what my pluses are of short sword. All I see is
It's your dex and your proficiency. So dexterity plus 4. It's a plus 7. 26. You cut through. Roll me damage. Just D6 plus dex.
Four.
4 points of damage. The vines let a tiny little shriek that you can hear in your big floppy ear as you start to cut through. A small portion has been cut through. You think you can squeeze through it if you're careful.
Don't got time. I'm gonna attempt to squeeze through.
Squeeze through. So you move at half speed, you squeeze through. And let's see. Are you... Let's see here. You take, as the thorns scrape and prick against you, as though alive, 5 points of poison damage.
I am resistant.
You take 2 points of poison damage. It feels terrible, but you're pretty sure you can shake it off without issue. There's no lingering effect, just the sting and the burn. As you push through and you follow after Vanya, who has a substantial lead. Vanya, you make your way into the interior of the building. The shelves have been sundered. They are broken. Things have been knocked off. Things have been smashed. The till in the back has been turned over, and you see gold and silver is piled around it. It hasn't been robbed, but it has been vandalized. The flames in the far back, in the back room where Edith keeps all of her special materials, where she keeps her books, where she keeps her cauldron, it is aglow with flame.
I'm immediately looking for Edith as I go through the front room towards the back room. I'm counting
Roll a
myself,
perception check.
keeping track of how long I have. 18.
Are you immune to all damage while you're spectral?
It says I'm intangible.
Intangible. All right. So with a perception of 18, you see that there are some scratch marks on the floor that are awfully suspicious, but there is no sign of Edith as you make your way toward the back. As you approach the back room, you hear another crash as something in the distance collapses. The flames, you can feel the heat, but it causes you no harm. Stratus is nearby. He is walking in your shadow, squinting, bracing themselves against the flame, unwilling to leave your side. You see that the whiskers they're catching a light, but he doesn't seem phased. This way. Push forward. Go. As you lead the way into the back room. In the back room, you see the shelves have been knocked over. Many of the alchemical ingredients are currently alight with flame. Something in the corner is bubbling and sparking. The center of the room, the roof has collapsed. Where you should see the night sky is instead filled with a terrible, thick, black, oily smoke. You hear in the center of the room. Your eyes are drawn to this mound of collapsed ceiling, beams of flame, and beneath them there is a large figure beside a tipped large cauldron. The fireplace appears to be roaring, and fire is just leaping out of it. This figure on the floor is large, misshapen, a woman, you think, with a withered, drooping face. One of her eyes is slightly too large, and her mouth is slightly too crooked. Her hair is short and ratty. Her whole body is covered in the sagging, wrinkled, tan skin. She appears to be clutching herself and writhing beneath the pile. You see a pair of spectacles on the ground beside her.
Huh.
Well, if Vanya doesn't do anything right away, Verdi is going to pause and what is he looking at?
So, Verdi, you catch up to Vanya, who appears to be frozen at the doorway. Looking into the building, into the back room, you see that the fireplace is roaring and fire is just belching out of it. There is a large cauldron that has been kicked to the side, leaking some kind of fluid across the floor that has not caught flame, but it is bubbling. At the center of the room, the ceiling has collapsed and is on fire, and there is a creature pinned beneath it, what appears to be an old woman, but very large and very ugly.
I'm going to drop my intangibility.
You were just hit with a rush of hot air. It is difficult to remain standing under this heat. Verdi, you're a tiefling. This is nothing to you.
So in the room, the fireplace and then the collapsed roof are both on fire, right?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I need to free her from the collapsed roof. So I'm going to start hurling Ray of Frost at the burning timbers.
The burning timbers. Okay. You rear back, and I'm assuming you're going to double tap because you have that ability.
Yep.
Roll 2 Ray of Frosts and an Arcana check.
All right. Arcana first.
Oof.
I'm freaked out.
There's one in the pool.
I will definitely use it. Yeah, mildly better.
You are tilted. Ray of Frost. Okay. 5 points of cold damage, 7 points of cold damage. The icy ray, it kind of shatters against the timbers. And for a moment, the timbers go dark. The flame seems to abate before sparking to life again. The creature beneath it moans. Oh.
Edith, is that you?
You call out, Edith, is that you? The creature looks up from the timbers, her misshapen and withered face looking at you, Verdi, and then looking toward you, Vanya. The eyes are wet and glassy and full of worry and something else.
Try to pull her free. I will try and keep this fire banked. I'm just going to keep hurling Ray of Frost.
No, not like this. I don't want you to remember me like this. And I think
trying to push off the ceiling that's stuck on top of her.
All right, you're going to try to lift up the ceiling that's stuck on her as you cast Rays of Frost. All right.
Maybe
not very
breaking
strong.
stuff across, maybe breaking some of those planks.
Give me one more turn each. So, Vanya, you've chosen to use Ray of Frost. Is that your choice?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of spells that are very helpful in this situation.
Roll your 2 attacks. Roll an Arcana check.
$15 this time.
Okay. This time, as you smash the beams with your Ray of Frost, there's a flash and a flicker, and you feel something push against you. Not physically, but something more intangible, something that twists the pit of your stomach. You feel a resistance, as though the fire itself is trying to willfully defy you. The flames go out, reduced to glowing embers. Verdi, you will not take fire damage as you attempt to lift it. It is hot, but not damagingly so to you. As you plant your hands beneath these beams, skin against hot embers, burning hot wood, and you begin to heave up. Verdi, I assume you're going to go with the athletics check and try to heave it up and off?
I mean, I got no pluses in anything strength-based, so...
You have magic.
What do you mean I have magic?
I'll leave it there. So, just a straight athletics check then.
Yeah, I'm looking at my spells. I have stuff that makes fire. I don't want to make fire. Am I forgetting something? Oh, I guess I can do that. Okay. Alright. Thorn Whip.
Okay. You reach down and you heft the wood, and you realize very quickly that this is a little bit too much for you. You reach for that little shred of magic that you have, those things you've learned from nature, from the green, and you with a quick flick of your hands, twist, and flick your wrist out, you produce a long whip of scintillating green vine. It latches onto one of the beams remaining in the ceiling, granting you some measure of leverage as the green whip tries to contract. You can roll your athletics check with advantage.
All right. All right. That's a 15.
15. You manage to heft up one of the beams currently on top of the downed figure, shoving it off into the side. It's not pretty. You kind of wish Biff was here. It rumbles and tumbles off to the side. It begins to slowly begin to ignite again, but this time away from the downed body. As you look over this misshapen, hunchbacked form, her arms are long and strangely muscular. Her back, likewise, is covered in these growths, as her clothes are just these tattered shreds. You notice, Verdi, that her skin is covered in this sickly, purple-black network of veins. Something is quite wrong. And as you heft this ceiling, this wood, this burning pile off of her, she lets out another agonized moan. Oh, no. And that is where we're going to call it for tonight. Sorry, it's 10:45, guys. I can't push any longer than this.
I was ready to go to bed until this happened.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do it to you, but I did.
Thank you for running game.
Thank you for sitting through game. Next session, I intend to get you guys out of town.
Yeah, okay.
This is the last thread that I had to tie. So,
Except for all my shit.
that is a promise I'm making to you guys. Hold me to it. Tell me if I'm being a dipshit and taking too long. And that's that. Thank you guys for game. Thank you for sticking through to it. Thank you for dealing with my Carney games. And my fucking music issues. I don't know what's up with that. I'm going to try to